If you've been dating a woman and she says certain things to you, it doesn't matter how strong the attraction feels or how much history you've built. There are moments when the smartest move a man can make is to protect his dignity and walk away. This isn't about small disagreements, emotional moments, or harmless jokes. Every relationship has those. This is about specific phrases that reveal something much deeper. Phrases that expose how she truly sees you, how much respect she has for you, and what kind of future this relationship actually holds. Most men ignore these warning signs because they're blinded by attraction, emotional attachment, or the fear of being alone. They convince themselves that she didn't mean it, that they're overreacting, or that things will improve with time. But here's the reality. Words don't slip out by accident. They reflect mindset, intention, and perception. Women communicate in layers. What sounds soft on the surface can carry a message underneath that slowly erodes your confidence and self-respect. And the moment you excuse or tolerate those words, you silently teach her how you're willing to be treated. This video isn't about becoming defensive or suspicious. It's about awareness, because words are windows into character. And when you learn to recognize these phrases early, you can save yourself years of emotional damage, wasted effort, and a relationship that slowly breaks you down instead of building you up. When a woman tells you you're too sensitive, it's almost never about you being emotional. More often, it's about avoiding accountability. This phrase is one of the most effective ways to dismiss your feelings without addressing the real issue. Instead of listening to your concern, she shifts the focus onto you, making it seem like your reaction is the problem, not her behavior. In a healthy relationship, both people should feel safe expressing discomfort. If you calmly communicate that something bothered you and the response is mockery, laughter, or dismissal, that's not communication. That's shutdown. She isn't trying to understand you. She's silencing you. Over time, this creates a serious psychological effect. You start doubting yourself. You hesitate before speaking up. You minimize your own needs to avoid conflict. Slowly, your voice disappears from the relationship, and that's how respect dies. Not in one big argument, but in repeated moments where your feelings are made to feel insignificant. Imagine this situation. You wait at a restaurant for a long time. She arrives late without calling. When you calmly say, "I don't like being kept waiting like that," instead of apologizing, she replies, "Wow, you're too sensitive." That response isn't innocent. It shifts responsibility away from her actions and places it on your reaction. If you accept that, you're teaching her that your time, boundaries, and feelings can be ignored without consequence. A woman who respects you will acknowledge your concern, even if she disagrees. She won't belittle you for expressing it. If your boundaries are consistently labeled as sensitivity, that's not honesty. It's a warning. And the sooner you recognize it, the sooner you protect your self-respect. The moment a woman starts comparing you to other men, the foundation of the relationship begins to crack. Comparisons are never neutral. They always carry a message, and that message is usually, you are not enough as you are. Whether she compares you to an ex, a coworker, a friend, or even someone she follows online, the effect is the same. It introduces insecurity into the relationship and places you in a competition you never agreed to enter. Psychologically, comparisons are powerful because they attack identity. Instead of feeling valued for who you are, you begin measuring yourself against an external standard. You start adjusting your behavior, your priorities, even your personality in an attempt to meet expectations that were never clearly defined. And here's the irony. The moment a man stops being authentic and starts performing for approval, attraction weakens. What initially drew her to you fades as you replace confidence with self-doubt. These comments are often disguised as motivation or harmless observation. For example, you've been busy with work and life responsibilities. One evening, she casually says, "You should be more like a guy from my office. He's always fit and full of energy." On the surface, it sounds simple. Underneath, it's a comparison that elevates another man while diminishing you. That's not encouragement. That's disrespect wrapped in advice. A woman who respects and values you doesn't make you feel replaceable. She supports your growth without placing other men above you. Growth should feel supportive, not competitive. When comparisons become a pattern, it's no longer about improvement. It's about control and imbalance. And if you stay long enough, you'll find yourself losing confidence, identity, and self-respect, trying to become someone you were never meant to be. When a woman says, "I don't need you," it can sound like confidence or independence. And in a healthy context, independence is a good thing. No one should feel helpless without their partner. But in a relationship, words are never just words. Context gives them meaning. There's a clear difference between emotional strength and emotional distance. Healthy independence sounds like, "I'm capable on my own, but I value what you bring into my life." Emotional detachment sounds like, "You're optional." When this phrase is used repeatedly, it quietly shifts the balance of the relationship. You stop feeling appreciated and start feeling replaceable. Your effort goes unnoticed. Your presence feels unnecessary. Over time, this affects how you show up. You become less motivated to invest emotionally because the message you're receiving is clear. Your contribution doesn't matter. No man wants to keep giving his time, energy, and commitment to someone who acts as if losing him wouldn't make a difference. You'll notice it in her behavior as well. She stops acknowledging the small things you do. She makes important decisions without considering your input. She carries herself as if the relationship would continue just fine without you. That's not confidence. That's emotional withdrawal. A strong relationship is built on mutual appreciation, not dependence, but desire. You don't stay because you have to. You stay because you want to. If a woman consistently reminds you that she doesn't need you, she's telling you something important. The emotional bond is weakening, and if you ignore that message, you risk staying in a relationship where you're physically present but emotionally invisible. Respect isn't loud, but disrespect often hides in statements that make you feel small without sounding cruel. This is one of them. At first glance, this phrase can sound emotional or even vulnerable, but make no mistake. "If you loved me, you would," is one of the most effective forms of emotional leverage in a relationship. This statement isn't about communication. It's about pressure. It places you in a position where you must either comply or risk being labeled uncaring, distant, or unloving. Your feelings, boundaries, and comfort suddenly become secondary to proving your devotion. The psychological impact is powerful. You stop asking whether something feels right to you and start asking how to avoid conflict. Many men fall into this pattern because they don't want to disappoint, argue, or lose the relationship. So they give in. You begin doing things you're uncomfortable with, spending money you don't have, sacrificing values you once stood by, all to avoid hearing that your love isn't enough. The danger isn't the request itself, it's the method. Healthy partners express needs openly and accept no without punishment. Manipulation ties love to obedience, and once this tactic works, it becomes a pattern. She learns that questioning your love is an easy way to override your boundaries. Over time, your sense of choice fades, and the relationship shifts from partnership to control. Real love doesn't need to be proven under pressure. It's demonstrated through consistent, willing actions, not guilt-driven compliance. Every time you hear this phrase, pause. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I choosing this freely, or am I being emotionally cornered? That answer will reveal whether you're in a relationship built on respect or one built on control disguised as affection. When a woman says, "You're lucky to have me," it may sound playful or confident at first, but when this phrase becomes a pattern, it reveals something deeper about how she views the relationship. This statement subtly places her above you. It frames the relationship as something you benefit from rather than something you both contribute to equally. Over time, this imbalance changes how you see yourself and how you behave. Instead of feeling valued, you begin feeling fortunate. Instead of being appreciated, you start proving your worth. The relationship slowly shifts from mutual respect to quiet competition, where you're constantly trying to earn validation that should already exist. That's the trap. When one partner consistently positions themselves as the prize, the other partner shrinks. You start working harder, compromising more, and questioning your value, while she grows increasingly comfortable on a self-created pedestal. Healthy relationships are not built on superiority. They're built on balance. Both partners should feel appreciated, chosen, and respected. No one should feel like they're lucky just to be allowed to stay. A woman who truly respects you doesn't need to remind you of her value. You feel it through her actions, through appreciation, through consistency, and just as importantly, she makes you feel valued in return. If you allow this mindset to take root, you'll spend the entire relationship chasing approval instead of experiencing mutual respect. And the longer that continues, the harder it becomes to recognize how much of yourself you've slowly given away.